it is Decroft, and today we are playing one of the most toxic defenses in college football 25 currently. Now, this is a defense that has been around. It is the 6-1 defense. The reason why it's kind of changed into one of the most toxic defenses is you can essentially have quick jump across the entire defensive line, which just makes the blitz go insane. It is in the 6-1 defense, which is in the 4-3 multiple playbook. But right off the bat, we are playing my guy, the Real Tay right here. He wasn't necessarily the one that found it, but he's one of the first people that I've seen like start running this defense. He streams all the time on Twitch, great guy. He actually comments on all my YouTube videos too. He's been a huge supporter of the channel, and it's great to just see him have the success he has had. Now, that being said, though, we are playing 6-1. So the big thing about 6-1 is you have 6 people right on the line of scrimmage like this, right? That's the big thing about 6-1. Now, the biggest thing about 6-1 and what makes it so good now is these platinum quick jumps. So you can essentially have all these platinum quick jumps, and it's just going to make that blitz so much better. Now, the coverage behind it isn't anything too crazy because you only have 4 defensive backs. It's really just a very blitz-heavy style of defense, right? Very easy just to send 6 and get consistent pressure. One quick thing, I do get a lot of questions about what application I do use to be able to draw on my computer. Even if you're not using this for, obviously, these breakdowns, might just be helpful for you. I do use Epic Pen. That's what I use. Now, with that being said, playing this style of defense, you want to make sure that you're pretty disciplined in terms of trying to pick it up, right? And one of the best tips I can instantly give you guys is if you guys see somebody running this defense, you have to call your best play action play. Play action makes it so quick jump does not actually activate, essentially nullifies it. They aren't going to get off the line as fast. So if you guys are playing this, regardless of what offense you are in, run, play, action. Best tip I can give you by far. With that being said, though, I'm still in the Michigan playbook for this. And one thing that I will mention, this is from a couple of weeks ago, as you guys can see, new room and everything. I meant to get this out a little bit earlier, like honestly like a week or two ago, but time just didn't allow for it. So we are using Pat White at quarterback. Now, with that being said, stay under protection, just going to block my tight end and just kind of get a feel for it early. Now, right off the bat, I get sacked. Just like that. You know, I had played this defense before, but not with all these quick jumps. So I wasn't really sure what to expect, honestly. I knew at the start of the game, so I don't know if you guys played way back at the start, Texas had like 3 or 4 gold quick jumps and then 2 platinum quick jumps, and people actually ran this defense on regs. They got nerfed since then. But with that being said, it was just insane. Like, it was insane. And I knew when we got to this year in cut, this is kind of how the game was going to play. And as you guys can see there, again, he gets really good pressure. And at this point, I'm really honestly just trying to make this a third and manageable right now. I'm also not calling play action plays early. You might be asking, why am I not calling play action plays earlier? The reason why is I just kind of want to get a feel for how good this blitz actually is, and do I even need to call play action? The answer is yes, but at this time, I just wanted to get a feel for it. Now, you guys are actually going to see me audible to a little bit of a gun off trips right here. You might be wondering why I'm doing this. The reason why is I want to essentially just have a better spacing alignment of my receivers. So obviously you guys are so used to me running the bunch, which is all going to be like these receivers in this area of the field. Well, for me personally, I'm like, man, okay, I got to find a way just to attack this one guy and this guy right here. Because obviously I'm anticipating all of these guys to be on the blitz, right? So I'm essentially just trying to create an overload with better spacing on this side of the field, just to make it easier for me to potentially have a player come open. It's something you guys will actually see me do a little bit here. You know, I know you guys have seen me run the bunch for most of the year, but one of the best tips I can always give you is master like 2 or 3 formations within your playbook. This is kind of the other formation I do have mastered in Michigan. That and trips, those are kind of like the other 2. And for me personally, like, when you play a defense like this, you're going to have to probably run a couple of other things because this style of defense is also very, very good against 6-1. Now, right here, I do run like a little bit of a C route out here. We do have an outside fade here, too, that I was potentially looking at. But right there, I do have my running back up the seam. So, again, very simple concept. Blocking my tight end, as always, against this style of blitz. And really just trying to find a way to attack the field quickly, right? You want to make sure your quick reads are sharp. And right there, we do actually go back to this play here again. So let me go ahead and pause here and then talk you guys through kind of what I'm seeing. So what you guys are going to see right here, I'm actually going to run the same play right here. And really, honestly only looking for two routes right here. We're going to have this guy, and then we're going to have like a wheel route like this up the sideline. We're going to have this C route. It's a little bit more choppy. It's more like that than rounded. And then we're going to have this outside fade right here. Now, essentially, 6-1, you're going to run a lot of either cover 2 or man coverage. So if he was in cover 2, that's when I'm going to have this look right here, that wheel route up the sideline, kind of try to throw it in that area of the field. But more than likely, it is going to be man coverage, where I'm going to have this being my main man coverage route right here. Now, let me go ahead and delete this and then just kind of show you guys what did happen on this play. Oh, did I actually? Oh, I put an out route. So I put an out route. That's actually just a slightly better man beating version. I was going to say, I thought I put an out route on this play. But it's a slightly better just man beating variation of this play. You know, very easy for me just to throw this quickly. We see man on this side of the field too. Simple out route right there, and we are able to get the first down. Almost a little bit scary. I thought there for a half second that maybe I didn't get the first down, but thankfully we were able to get the first down. Real quick, boys, if you guys are a Madden or a CFB player and want to have more fun on the game and win more, throw touchdowns like these, and then also bag the most annoying of offenses, make sure you guys check out civil.gg, where I just dropped my tournament winning CFB25 scheme. We recently did a survey that said 99.2% of players that sign up win more games. Make sure you guys use code DCROFT to save you 30% off at the checkout. Link is in the top of the description, and you'll get instant access to all of the schemes on the website. All right, my fault. Did have to quickly double check something. Want to make sure my recording and everything was good. Actually forgot to do that going into this video. But right here, we are going to motion out the running back. Now, this is a really good concept to use in general against any form of heavy blitz, right? I really like the motion running back out concept. And the reason why is you're essentially never going to block him. He's just not going to be very good blocking wise. If you ever try to block a running back against this style of defense, among the gap style of defense, you're just going to get screamed at, right? We've already emphasized, right, so much about these quick jumps just all essentially screaming at you every single play. And it allows me just to do a couple of other things with my running back, right? So if I go ahead and actually just delete all of this, and just hypothetically, let's say the running back isn't out here and the running back is still here, we really can't do a ton with him. You know, I know we do have like a post route, we do have a corner, we have a flat like this, but what we really can't do on this play is we can't really attack this area of the field very well with the running back, where if we motion him out, we can obviously then attack that area of the field pretty easily. And then on top of that, you're still having all those options of him essentially still coming back across the field like that. So again, it's just one of those things that creates more like offensive flexibility for me. Allows me to call other plays that I think just makes it a lot easier of playing offense when I do motion out my running back. Now right here, honestly, we've done like a pretty good job at picking up the blitz. He did only send 5 right there. And one of the things that I will mention when running this blitz, and I am pretty adamant about this isn't that style of defense that you really want to send 5 out most of the time. It's either you're going to be sending 6 or 4. You never really want to send 5. It's either 6 or 4. Right there, we are on a 2nd and inches. Just a pretty simple, easy run play for Saquon Barkley right there. I think this is my first time calling play action this game. Oh, it wasn't. I thought I did call play action right there. But again, so you're probably wondering why I talked about calling play action at the start of this, and I haven't actually really ran it myself. At this point in time, the blitz hasn't been that crazy. Honestly, it just hasn't been, right? And for me, I don't want to adjust my like core style of playing if the blitz isn't going crazy, right? You know, I don't want to have to call play action every single play, right? And limit really what I can call. Right there, I actually had a dot. We got hit, and it was still a dot. Definitely fortunate. So right here, the reason why I motioned him out, excuse me, is because I wanted this outside fade. This is the flood fade right here. Typically, this flood fade is going to run a little bit more narrow like this. We have the streak like this. This time I motioned him out because I was anticipating cover 2. So instead of this fade being at this area of the field, we just have the fade over here, which is essentially going to allow him to get to this space a little bit better. His quick jumps did go kind of crazy right here. You guys can see the pressure that he does get right here. Boom, pressure, I get hit when I'm making the throw. As you guys can see, if I get that throw where I actually want it, it's definitely going to be open. Sadly for me, it was not open. Definitely very fortunate with the catch, though, I will say. Don't act like I wasn't very fortunate with the catch, but I do think I called a good play there regardless, even if the read necessarily didn't look the best. Now we are in the red zone. Now, one thing about this sequence I will say, I do wish I ran the ball a little bit more in this area of the field. Red zone is just very hard to be able to pick up any form of yardage down here, especially against a style of defense like 6-1. So for me, any type of run play is always something I always try to lean on in this area of the field. Now, with that being said, we still call a good first down play. Again, more of that. Wing trips weak is the actual name of that formation. And again, just that secondary formation, right? Just that different look that he has to be prepared for. Better spacing. Call a little bit of an auto motion play. And right there, yeah, I'll be honest, I just did something dumb right there. I remember like sitting there and I was thinking, man, I have like a rule. It's called don't run pitch on first down. Because the way I look at it is worst case scenario is what we just witnessed. I remember just sitting there. I'm like, why did I actually just run the pitch here? I don't even have an explanation for this one for you guys. I just pitched it. This was just a bad play. You have bad plays. I thought this guy, I mean, if you want the truth, I thought this guy, like, I saw him instantly come free. And I thought he was going to be a little bit more aggressive towards me. Why I still pitched this, I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question. It's a good question. It's one of those plays that we'll have to just think about, right? We'll just have to think about it down the line, right? Nonetheless, though, good first drive by us. Bad red zone play. Not mad at how I've started this game, right? A lot of block tight end concepts, and I think this is the drive where you're going to start to notice quick jump go really, really crazy. You know, that first drive, I felt like I played pretty good against quick jump. This is going to be the drive where it starts to go, what I'm going to say is pretty insane. Now, the thing about 6-1 is there's a lot of like different unique like line crashes you can do for it. It's not like you necessarily have to be doing a specific line crash. A lot of different ways you can do it, you know, shifting different ways. That's one of the reasons why it's one of the best blitzes. It's just so many different ways you can potentially run this. Now, right here, what do I do here? I will say, last play, I was kind of slow on my read. And right here, yeah, this is just another bad play. I guess like I'll take you through my thought process. I wanted a slightly different variation of a flood play. And this is actually a good play to show you guys here too, because this is why I have such an emphasis on never blocking your running back. If I just look at this guy and this guy, right, coming off of the edge like this, if I go back and if I play and if I go boom, he has this guy coming free off the edge, and it's a little bit hard to tell right here, but this guy is also coming free off the edge right here. Granted, this guy's probably not taking the best angle ever. The reality of it is the running back right here doesn't do anything. This is Derrick Henry. He does not do anything. This was something that I wasn't anticipating from him. I didn't anticipate the safety on this side of the field to essentially play this so well. And he made a really good adjustment right here. This was a great adjustment by him. Safety just comes down right there. He's able to make a pick. And I go down 7-0 early, and now I don't have the ball. So I couldn't really start off with much worse of a start than this, I will say. I think that the way now I'm thinking about this is I just need to get a stop here, right? Hold them to 3. We're gonna be more than fine, I will say. He is using Justin Fields at quarterback. Again, you guys can see videos from I'd say like 2-ish weeks ago, give or take, of when I played this tournament style game. And yeah, I was a little bit surprised he used Justin Fields. I will say right now, use Patrick Mahomes. I'm actually going to have a video out in the next couple of days on him. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback. Probably the most commonly asked question I always get is who is the best quarterback? It's Mahomes. Just use Mahomes. Don't have any second thoughts with that too. Right there, though, good defense from us right there. Still in the 3-2-5 mint on defense, running 3-2-5 tight. I'm probably going to dabble with 6-1 a little bit here myself. I think 6-1 is obviously a very good defense. It's a very easy defense to run to. It's not a complex defense whatsoever. So one of the things that I will mention is that you guys will see a decent amount of 6-1 on this channel, probably going forward to the end of CFB26. Now, right there, he does just throw a dot. And I'll tell you guys right now, so my main adjustment right here is I have this safety on this side of the field in a middle third like this. I have this guy deep half, this guy here, this guy here. I'm kind of lurking the middle of the field, like this area right here. This guy's a hook, and then this guy's just a cloud flat right there. I thought this safety right here, cutting all the way across here, would get to the tight end. But this is kind of the different style of game we're playing right now. He does have takeoff on his tight end, so that actually affects this a lot. By him having takeoff, the tight end is just going to be able to split this coverage a lot easier than what they previously were able to do, right? You didn't have takeoff there. Never really worried about this, but because he has takeoff, right, he's able to get to that perfect position. That middle safety that typically gets over there isn't there. So for me, one of the worst starts I could possibly have, right? I'd say that. I mean, we're down 14-0, so on that aspect, it's one of the worst starts we could possibly have. But at the same time, we did have a good first drive. He hasn't had to play offense yet. You know, I know he obviously threw a touchdown, and what I really mean by that is that he hasn't had to sustain a full drive, right? And in my head, even though I'm down 14-0, I'm just thinking, you know, I'm honestly fine, right? You know, I'm playing a new style of defense for one of the first times. It's just about get into my groove, kind of go from there. Right now on offense, obviously just simple run call with Saquon. Actually, really good run defense by him. One of the weird things about 6-1, I don't know why it's like this, but it is for whatever reason. It's weirdly not the best run defense in the game. I'm not going to say it's bad run defense, but you would think it's a lot better run defense than what it actually is one thing I will say. Now, right there, as you guys can see, this is where quick jump goes insane. So I want you guys just on this play, watch the defensive line. This is when quick jump just starts going insane. So he's sending 6. I'm also blocking 6. And you guys can see, guy just walks in free. Guy is coming in free on this side too. And yeah, like, I mean, I had 4 out of the 6 people blocked. So as you guys can see, this is why 6-1 is really just such a good defense with all these platinum quick jumps. If you don't have platinum quick jump, I will say this defense is still good. I just don't think it's as insane personally. Now right here, actually, I like the play that I had, and I'm just like, man, in my head, I was like, if I just get blocking, I'm in a fine spot. And then look at what just happened, by the way. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 people in my backfield instantly. My crosser has ran 10 yards of that. This guy has ran maybe 6 or 7 yards, and this guy has barely started his drag as I have everybody in the backfield. Now, this is one of the crazier throws I've ever seen. Pat White actually does get this off. I don't know how. I still wonder how. And the reason why I say Mahomes is the best quarterback now, and actually the reason why I use Pat White too, they have the Drew Aller release. Against these style of blitzes, having a fast release is essential. If I do not have a fast release on this play, I get sacked and I lose this game, right? It's literally just this. I probably will lose this game. Randy Moss is able to get a takeoff touchdown, and we're able to get back into this game. But again, this, like, I think I showed the clip. I'm actually going to show you guys the clip here too. Just watch this. I'm going to keep pausing, right? I actually timed this. This was like under like 1.3 seconds of time I had to throw. You guys can see that he just instantly wins everywhere. And be aware, I'm blocking 6 people on this play. It's not like I'm not blocking 6 people. And as you guys can see, the blitz just like instantly comes in, right? Just instantly comes in. And I'm on stream right now watching this, and I'm like, man, what just happened? Like, I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, that is the most insane clip that I have probably ever seen. Not even necessarily in terms of the blitz, but also the throw itself. The throw itself by Pat White was insane. Randy Moss going down the sideline, able to get me 7. And that was a complete game changer in this game, I will say. You know, for me, you know, even though I feel like I've probably played like a B- game so far in offense, if I had to assess myself. If I scored the first drive, it would honestly probably be like a B+, A-, give or take. But getting that 7 regardless of how we got it, now we're back into the game. Now I can just essentially just calm down a little bit. Like, we realize, okay, I'm in a fine spot. Defensively, he's running gun normal Y off close. So for me on Mint, played this a lot of times. Just gotta make sure I watch for that takeoff tight end. That's like the only major difference I've played. And right there, first play for him, he does actually throw a pick. Minkah Fitzpatrick is able to get the pick right there. And then we're able to have a huge return here too with Minkah. I will say, offensive lineman in this game feels so fast. I thought I housed that, but he just didn't. Right here, this was actually a pretty aggressive switch stick from me. So the reason why I switched this stick so aggressively is I really just didn't think that he was going to be able to throw this inside streak, right? I thought Minkah was kind of in that perfect position to guard both. So the reason why I dragged the safety and took him out of that spot was because I trusted Minkah to get all the way back here. And it worked perfectly how I thought it would. You know, this is a really long throw here, too. He's at, let's just say his own 20 right here. And he's trying to get the ball really basically to the other 20, right? It's probably like a 60, 65-yard throw, give or take. And for me personally, I just knew how long the ball was going to be in the air. And I was perfectly fine with trusting Minka to make that play. That's kind of the reason why I had a super aggressive switch stick right there. Now we're back into this Y off trips week right here. Very simple concept. We have the out route. One of the best things against 6-1 is actually to spam those out routes, those speed out routes. Very, very difficult for 6-1 to stop. It's a very simple, easy concept that you can run that I would say like 90% of people that play 6-1 are probably not going to figure out how to stop it. With that being said, though, you guys can see the stats. Like, I'm 9 of 13 passing. I feel like I played a fine game up to this point. I threw the why didn't throw, but I had the idiotic pitch in the red zone, right? Just a bad play by me. And I also had that one streak that was picked off. Honestly, just like a good adjustment by him. Right there we are in the red zone. That time I do run the ball right there. And we are actually kind of in like the worst spot possible in the red zone, and that's 1st and goal from the 10. Now you might be wondering why this is the worst spot possible. It's a very hard to sequence plays to get open when you're at 1st and goal from the 10, right? And for me right there, I do run the ball there on 1st down. Really good run defense by him. And now you're going to see a little bit of my trips. This is also kind of my red zone offense. I do really like this just in terms of my red zone offense. Very simple concept I go to right here. I'm actually just trying to snap through my flat. And again, quick jump gets the pressure basically in the backfield instantly again. Just such a tough style of defense to go up against. Right there, we do block my running back. Basically, the difference in that play working. Now, I did kind of have to block my running back there because I needed my tight end out on the route. One of the few times that you will probably see me have my running back be blocked. I just realized that my best chance at picking up the blitz was blocking the running back on that play and me having a chance. And even right there, you guys actually see the running back didn't block anybody, but you know, he did enough, right? He was a motivator to get that throw off faster. With that being said, though, we are 14-14 right now. And I feel like in my head that we're more than fine, right? I feel like defensively, I feel really comfortable in mint. I'm not really overly worried about anything in mint personally. And I think for me, what I'm just kind of thinking about right now is just make him work for these drives. Don't give up anything easy. And then right there, we are able to get pressure. We're able to get a fumble. And we're able to get the ball. And just like that, I mean, we were down 14-0, and this game has done a complete 180. Now, biggest thing, Daniel, don't pitch the ball again. Just run your duo, run your inside zone, hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. Don't have Jalen Hurts. Don't have any type of tush push. Let's just go ahead and give the ball to Saquon, and let's just easily get into the end zone. And yeah, so for me, back into the lead in this game, 21-14. And I honestly thought at this point I was going to kind of run away with this game. The reality of it is this that's not what happens in this game. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but this turns out to actually be, as I said, one of the better games I played this entire year in any tournament. With that being said, though, here, he does call that same play he threw the pick on earlier. I don't exactly know what he saw there. That's typically like a gun normal Y-off close play. You want to run to the wide side of the field. He's essentially trying to beat cover 2 with that outside fade and the streak right there. So I was a little bit surprised to see that. Right here, I'm just in the stock cover 4. I'm essentially just saying I don't want to give up a 1st down on this play. With that being said, though, that's a couple of too many yards right there. Just don't want to have that many yards given up on that play. Now he does motion out his running back here again. They love motioning out their running back in this. One of the reasons why, I'll give you guys a quick little concept here of why they like doing this. It's very easy to do a concept. You can't see the running back, but running back's right here. It's very easy. Oh, this is supposed to be a corner, by the way. To do like a concept along the lines of that with these 3 players. And then the backside's kind of preference. You'll see sometimes people do something like this. Other times oops, that's not what I meant. Other times you'll see people do a concept like, this is going to be a post now. That was not what I meant. Like this. This guy could even be on a streak. Whatever it may be, it's a very simple concept just to draw up very basic route combos out of. Right there, he actually does go with the drag instead right there. And he does actually throw this outside fade right there. And one thing I will say, I really do debate about using house calls a little bit more. I don't know what your guys' experiences are with them, but house squash just isn't that good for me. I don't know. I've every time I've tried it, it's just kind of let me down. I see so many people preaching about how good house call is, but for me, this might be kind of crazy. I'd give it like a B tier ability. Like it's just never been that good for me. Like it's cool, like when I actually catch my picks, but I don't feel like it helps me catch my picks that much more. Right there, great dot by him. Bad switch stick by me on that play. I probably should have been slightly better with my switch stick on that play. I just say, honestly, not the greatest angle ever. Right there, good defense by us. He actually does pump fake right there. I don't know why he pump faked. I don't know what he was looking for. If there was something that he thought was coming open and then just wasn't actually open. Very rarely do you see people ever actually use pump fake. Right there, though, good lurk by us. And the reality of it is he did actually just get an overthrow right there. If that ball is accurate, that is probably a pick. So a bit of a shame for us, right? I would love a pick right there. But for us on that play, it just wasn't overthrow, so we weren't able to get one. He's going to go back to this motion running back out. And one thing that I will say, and I will give him credit for this, is that he started to figure out like that motion out running back was kind of the thing that he was having the most success with. A lot of people, when they're in a game like this, they'll try to stick to like very like basic things. He was doing things with like motioning and stuff that was starting to really help him a ton. Right there though, simple drag. I will say the play before I didn't talk about. I don't know how he caught that. One of the biggest advocate things I have for CFB26 is like an actual knockout system. I don't know if you guys have anything for CFB26. You guys are actually seeing this on Tuesday. I'm actually uploading this up on the same day. CFB26 did just get announced. Very exciting news. Jeremiah Smith and then also Ryan Williams on the cover. I actually like the cover. I wasn't the biggest fan of the cover last year. I'm not the biggest person to care about something like that, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the cover last year, I will say. Now, back on offense for him, he does get screamed at again. One thing I will say about him, he didn't really seem that comfortable picking up the standard loop. I feel like I was able to get very consistent pressure in this game. And, we talk a lot about scheming up pressure and when to and when not to scheme up pressure. The reality of it is if you can always get pressure sending the same amount of people, you should never really send any more people. Now, right here, he does try to throw an out route right here. We do end up getting the pick with Minka. And one thing I will say, I do think he had an inaccurate right here. And you might be wondering how I know this. Typically, when you have an inaccurate, you actually see the receiver's catch animation be it's almost like T-Rex arm, where it's like, instead of like going out to get the ball like this, they have to like come back to the ball in a way. So if you actually watch the receiver on this play, I do believe he gets an inaccurate. Now, I don't know if this is open even with an accurate. Like, let's just say the ball is hypothetically up here, because you can see he's kind of reaching down for it. If the ball is up here, I think it's a 50-50, maybe a 70-30. I think it's maybe a little bit, obviously more likely that he does catch it than that throw, but I still don't know if he actually does catch it there. And right there, boys, we are up 7 in a great spot. We were down 14. And for me, the biggest thing is just kind of trying to make this last drive. Now we did, I'm trying to get better at not saying the same things over and over again. I realized I was saying something over and over again. We do end up getting blown up on first down, and here we go, play action. I'm kind of trying play action for the first time just to get a feel of how I like it. And I don't know, I'm not used to running play action in this playbook. I just don't have a ton of plays that I really like to call while calling play action, and it does really hurt me right there. I thought the blitz pickup was good on that play. I didn't mind the blitz pickup on that play, but still a problem. Right here, we do max protect. We do throw this crosser, and I throw another pick. And look, I played really good on defense this game, and I don't exactly know why I forced this. It is just this middle player in the field right here, this middle linebacker. He wasn't a 3-rec right here if I had to guess. Either a 3-rec or a min-read. And when he switched sticks off of him, I guess I just anticipated him to go a little bit more towards the sideline. You guys can kind of see his path right there. I see man coverage here. I almost just take my eyes off of him, and I essentially just throw it right at him and throw a pick. This was not a good offensive game from me. I think that I had just a couple of too many mistakes already. And even though we've had moments of looking really good on offense, plays like that, especially when you're playing as good defense as I am, you just can't make mistakes like that. Because at this point in time, I really don't think he has a point on offense. Not a full sustained drive. He had that one tight end streak, but he hasn't really had a full sustained drive. Right there, good defense by us. Sadly, we just get extended. Again, one of those things, if that does happen to you, don't get mad at it. One of the best things that I can always recommend is that is going to happen for you. That is going to happen against you. It's just the nature of the game. Do I wish it was in the game? Obviously not. I think the quarterback should be sacked a little bit more. But if that does happen, you just have to accept it, right? It's the game. At the end of the day, like, what can you really do about that? You put your guy in a good spot to succeed. You just ain't got the animation. I look at it like no different than I really look at it like no different than the concept of like an unfortunate call in like a football game, right? Like a holding call that wasn't a holding, right? Like at the end of the day, like things are gonna happen for you, and then those things are also gonna happen against you. The last two plays for him really didn't have anything open. Trying to highballing like an outside fade, try to highballing a drag underneath. For me at this point, I'm really just trying to hold him to 3 points. He is in field goal range already now at this point, especially with these kickers right now. Kickers are just so insane in this game. And I know we haven't talked a ton about my defensive coverage shells within this specific video, as Justin Fields again does kind of go crazy for a first down. I'm really only rotating between like cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. And he actually, it's kind of a lie. I'm rotating between cover 3, cover 6, and cover 4. I'm not really actually running cover 2 much this game. So for me, there isn't really a time to break down. I'm really just focusing on my switch stick, running very basic shells on switch stick. It's one of the best ways of actually improving your switch stick is just running basic things on defense, actually, just so you always know who you are going to switch stick onto. Right here, this is actually another cover 6 look that I'm in, just kind of mixing up like which way or how I want to switch stick. Even though that my coverages aren't changing a ton, the way I am switch sticking is changing a decent amount. A lot of the competitive side of this game at this point in the year is just relying on your switch stick. Right there, though, on first down, really good play by him. He does try hitting that post. That's kind of been one of his bread and butter plays, is that backside post. That's out of PA snag, so that's what he's calling. PA snag, one of the better blocking protections in this game. A lot of people that run this normal Y off close like to run PA snag. Just because of the blocking, and then it has very good routes on the play too. Second and 22, after we did get that sack, he ran the same play again, actually, and that time he does hit his drag. One of the things I will say, I feel like there were a couple of times he was getting a little bit too greedy. I think he was holding on to the ball for a little bit too long, which kind of did hurt him. A lot of times when you're playing a game like this, you do just have to hit your first read. Very rarely do you ever want to play a game like this and not hit your first read, unless you're very, very comfortable in the pocket. Now, right here, this one was kind of crazy to me. I have a stock outside third right here, albeit not super backed off. He has an outside fade right here, and typically this outside fade doesn't run this well on the short side of the field, but he's able to find the open player, and he's able to have a huge play right there. Now, I should have probably just manually backed off my corner, but I was still surprised that was open, I will say. I wasn't anticipating that to be open, obviously, or I would have just backed him off. So really, I'd say that's like his first like big chunk play of the game. Up until this point, he really hasn't done a ton offensively. First good chunk play by him. Right there, almost has really good run stick. He was almost able to bounce that all the way out to the left right there. He's hurrying up a lot right here. Probably feature number 2 for CFB26 I want to be updated is hurry up. I would love, and I mean love, if hurry up just got nerfed in some way, shape, or form. Regardless, though, hurry up doesn't really affect me stopping that play or not stopping that play. Good little RPO read flat right there by him. And right here, I do go offsides. You might be wondering, why do I go offsides right there? I really just wanted to come out in my goal line defense. I didn't really want to waste a timeout. The way I look at it is like, what does he gets an extra 6 inches there? Maybe it's probably even less than that. It's 3 inches. If that, I mean, he barely got any type of yardage on that. So for me personally, I was like, let me just come out on my goal line defense. And he actually had a great play for this. I've never seen somebody run this before. He ran speed option and just cut it right up the middle with himself. Great play by him. Great drive by him. I think a little bit just lackadaisical defense from me. And he goes up 24-21. So again, gotta figure out a way to play 6-1 better. I think at this point we have thrown 2 interceptions and then we've had the bad pitch. Go to my gun wing trips week right here. He just hasn't done a good job at stopping this at really any point this game, I will say. So for me, just going back to this, I think I do send the tight end out on a route right here, just on a quick seam. Notice that he does take away the seam. I just go to my out route. Again, very simple, easy concept for you to beat 6-1 with is going to be those speed outs. Not even necessarily just 6-1 too. If I could give you guys a recommendation, speed outs are something you guys need in your offense, one way or another. I don't know how you can implement 6-1 into or speed outs into your offense. They are just so good. Now right here, this one was a little crazy to me. I thought I had a dot right here. So what he does right here is that, he's been so worried about the speed out, right? And this is kind of the chess game you have to play against 6-1. He's been so worried about this, not the eraser, the speed out like this. So what he does actually right here is he hard flat. So he's going to hard flat and take that away. Good adjustment by him. The reason why this is a very aggressive adjustment is you have this middle safety trying to get all the way out here. Now, this is a safety outside third. This isn't a deep half. If this was a deep half, you'd run a little bit more like this. This is a safety outside third right here. Even though it was a safety outside third, I thought I could easily loft this into this area of the field and just have it be honestly, just a simple catch. You guys actually roll it right here. I do have what I want, right? So again, I wait for him to clear, read the hard flat right. It might have been a cloud flat, but I read the flat right here, realize that he's not playing that deep. Do throw it to my receiver right here. I think if I just don't get the jumped up animation, I don't highball by the way, but sometimes that can just happen on deep passes. I think if he just doesn't jump right there, I do think it is a dot. But nonetheless, it's a little bit frustrating because against 6-1, you don't really have the opportunity at many chunk plays. So for me, just to not pick up that chunk play was it was tough. I'll say it. It was tough. And right here, what you guys are going to say, and I make a big mistake right here. This is just a frustration read. I'm also getting pressured, not pressed. Right here. Again, I'm blocking my running back. Fun fact, he's only sending 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I lied. That's a complete lie. He's sending 6. So again, it makes sense, right? He's sending 6. I'm just never going to pick this up. I still thought I had this outside fade right here. I actually got a good throw by Pat White. I'm not even mad at the throw by Pat White. I just didn't have it. Again, it was just more of a frustration throw from me. And he's able to get a stop. And again, up until this point, I feel like I played a great game outside of just my interceptions. So the reality of it is obviously I've not played a great game. But for me, it's just like, man, I got to be a little bit sharper, right? So now he does get the ball back on offense here. He's in his gun normal Y-off close. He also always likes running it to the short side of the field. Sometimes people like running this to the wide side of the field a little bit more, but he seemed to have a preference of doing it to the short side of the field. And then right there, he does split the seam, and he's able to, again, have another big play with takeoff. So again, you got to think about it. He's probably had 130 passing yards just off of takeoff alone. So for me, that's just bad defense, right? It's not like takeoff hasn't been in the game for a while. I just need to back off my corners. I need to get my safeties in the right spot. You guys will always see me pre-snap. I move around so many of my players, and it's really to get them in the perfect spot for what I think is going to happen. And then right there, take off again with the tight end. And then he's able just to high point it back at the end zone. And I'm down 31-21. And again, up until this point, I feel like how many big plays has he had that hasn't been takeoff, right? And I look at something like that and I'm just sitting there. It's like, I just have to play takeoff better. It's just as simple as that. It's not even as I said, new thing. I've been playing takeoff this entire year. I guess I've just been slightly too aggressive trying to take away some other things, giving up takeoff. Now for me, I have to get 7 on this drive. I'm down 10 right now, around 6 minutes left of the game time. And if I don't get 7 on this drive, this game is over. I don't think there's any other way of saying it. Now we do start running some play action here, right? I do just want some simpler protection, so I do start running some play action right here. And again, you guys can just kind of see I'm kind of uncomfortable at this point. It's a little bit different now. I've played 6-1 a lot more since this first time that I've played it. But this current point in time, like I didn't really feel that comfortable. You know, I didn't have like the exact thought process of the play action plays that, you know, I wanted to be calling. You know, we use this term a lot in terms of like summer defense. This is kind of like a summer defense. It's obviously a defense that probably won't work at the start of next year. It's a very summer-esque defense. And right there, I probably should have thrown a pick. Just good switch stick by him. I do click on, I do try to ag that down. But again, just that wasn't really a good read by me. I get to a 3rd and 10 right here. Again, going to motion out my running back here again. I actually go away from play action here too, just because I wasn't a fan of what I was seeing whenever I was calling it. And right there, I have to basically get the ball off instantly because again, 6-1, just in my backfield screaming at me. And now we're on a 4th and 5. And really, you guys can see the pressure. That's why I didn't re-roll it right there. You guys can see the pressure right there. And for me, I have to figure out something, right? So I go to this play. This is a very similar play that I've called before, having that running back wheel out of the backfield. And thankfully for us, he doesn't get the good switch stick. And we are able to take off right there with Mike Evans. So honestly, for both of us, lots of big plays. You know, I had my own Randy Moss big play early. I now have that Mike Evans big play. A lot of big plays for both of us in this game. What I will say about him, I think this was essentially his attempt to win the game stop right here. What he's actually going to do is he does have a backside hook on this safety. He's going to have this guy in man to this guy right here. And I believe what he wanted to do was to have a cleaner switch stick onto this guy if this was to be a thing, which happened to be a thing on this play. He just didn't get that good switch stick on this play. And it essentially just allows me to throw that crosser wide open here. I do also have the running back, I will say. If he doesn't do the initial switch stick, I would also have the running back right there. You guys can see he does try to get back on that switch stick, back on that side of the field. The reality of it is that's probably one of the better plays I have called. Very good play action play. Didn't really have to worry about the quick jumps, and I was able to have a big play over the top right there. So for me, in my head, I'm still thinking I played good defense, right? Offensively, again, at this point, I'd honestly give myself a C the way I played offense. But, you know, I still have 28 points. If I get a stop right here, field goal, just tie it at least. And I just feel like I've played really good defense. I just think that there has to be a way for me to get a stop and then continue to stay in this game. Now, 1st and 10 right here. And what I start doing is I'm actually going to start dragging my safeties back a little bit. I just am begging that I don't give up another takeoff touchdown. Right there, he does just throw the underneath right there to his receiver. And again, same thing right here, making sure I'm backing off all the safeties and everything. Great switch sticks by us. That one was a little bit sickening. I think that's the second time this game that if the ball was just accurate and where the ball was supposed to go actually went there, I think it could be a pick. It's just one of those ones, right? It's just one of those ones. 3rd and 2 here. Again, making sure I'm dragging back these safeties. At this point, I'm just telling myself, I'm not losing to takeoff, right? I'm not losing because I give up another streak. If he keeps throwing these underneath routes, so be it, right? I don't want to lose because I'm giving up an easy streak. You guys always have to think about what is a very easy thing to throw. If you have a wide open streak's pretty easy read to make. I want to force him into making other reads in the rest of this game. Start of the 4th quarter here. I will say he didn't really run the ball a ton. Didn't really run touch passes. A lot of people do like to do that out of this. Right there, he does have the drag wide open. But again, I'm just so adamant. I'm not giving up the big play. I'm going to force him into just taking the underneath route consistently. If he takes the underneath route consistently, I'm cool with it. Right here is the first time I actually do send a little bit of pressure right here. Reason why I send pressure is I notice he's been sending out 5 routes a lot. Do you think that a blitz is going to be really good right there? And again, we send pressure, and again, we are able to get the takeoff stopped, which is essential, but he didn't throw a pick for that. That's one that I really would like a pick on that. You're throwing it into double coverage. Again, you guys can see all this moving around pre-snap is to get my players in the perfect spot for takeoff. Spending a lot of time with the line of scrimmage too. He doesn't really quick hike a ton. I will say, this isn't really an offense that you can easily quick hike out of. Quick hiking is something that you will see a lot in bunch. Bunch is typically a very good quick hike offense. What I mean by quick hiking too, in case you've never heard that term before, just getting to the line of scrimmage and hiking the ball. So making one hot route and then hiking. It's been a very meta concept for a long period of time. If you guys have played Madden, which I'm assuming there's quite a few of you guys that cross over onto Madden for this too, a lot of people use Conductor for that too, and so that's why the quick hiking meta has been such a long thing in Madden specifically. Right there, though, I do a great job. I get him into a 4th and 2, and in my head, it's just don't give up the touchdown. You know, get him into a 4th and short, and then just play aggressive defense here. Right here, play good defense. He just finds an open player. Good play by him. But again, this sequence has been 10 times better than any other sequence defensively I have played so far. I've made him work down the field. I'm not giving up the easy one-play touchdown. And for me personally, even though I've had those drives where I've got like the actual stop, the pick, etc., for me personally, this is still the best defensive drive I've played because I'm forcing him to play in a different style than the way he does actually want to play in. Even though I did get the stop right there, I'm still okay with how I'm playing defense. Right here, he does a good job at just taking a little bit of clock. He obviously has the lead right here, so he just wants to try to bleed as much clock as possible. It does take off right there with Fields. We'll say he didn't really have like that many big plays with Fields with his legs. He had that one double extender sack that he did break this game, but outside of that, he really hasn't done a ton, I will say. I think I've done a good job at just keeping him in the pocket, containing Fields, and forcing him to at least pass the ball. Right there, great job by him, again, continuing to chew clock. He's trying to make this last drive. He's not trying to let me have the opportunity to score again. And he gets onto a 3rd and 7 right here, motions out the running back again. And he's doing a really good job at being smart with the clock. You can actually tell by that quarterback animation too. He's setting up some protection right there. Does a great job at picking up the blitz. And right there, we're able to get the switch stick pick. And that's what I was kind of talking about on the last drive, is that I had such an emphasis on just making him work down the field. That was my goal, was I just wanted to make him work down the field and force him into those tough situations, the 3rd and longs, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 15s, the 4th and 2s. I wanted to force him into tough situations. I didn't want to give up the easy streak touchdown again. Now back on offense here, we do need 3, right? We need 3 to at least extend the game, but I will probably never kick 3 on this drive unless there's 0 seconds on the clock. Reason why is I don't want to give him the opportunity to score himself in any way, shape, or form. We are going to go back to the same play that did end up scoring a touchdown for us. We do have the crosser right here, Randy Moss, and this is actually kind of sickening. This is actually out of bounds. You guys are going to see booth review. You guys are going to see that little clip right there, and they did actually say that was out of bounds. On my glance, my angle, that was not out of bounds. But I guess something in New York had something a little bit different. And just like that, we're on a 3rd and 12 of our own. Thought I caught a good play right there. Good switch by him. It forced me to be a little bit aggressive, needing to catch that. But I still thought I called a good play there myself anyways. Right here, now 3rd and 12. Again, I'm not really playing this drive for 3. I'm not even trying to get into field goal range on this play. This drive is 7 or bust for me. Right there, go back to Mike Evans, and then we're able to have the touchdown on that play. Now the story of this game is actually the big plays. We've both given up a lot of big plays this game. I did want to take a little bit more time off the clock on that drive. I just think the way we've both played offense in this game, if I'm up 4 with 2 minutes 30 left, I have to win this game. It's just as simple as that. If I don't win this game, I didn't deserve to win this game. I'll even up to this point, I don't think I've even really played that well in this game to deserve to win this game. But, you know, in this spot, if you were to tell me I was to play this way on offense and still have a chance to win it at the end of the game, I have to be okay with it. I'm not going to try to perfect a 0-second last-minute touchdown. I just want to get my 7. So 2 minutes 30 left on the clock right here. And this is one thing that I found kind of interesting from him. He played this super aggressively in terms of making it last drive for himself. Now, if I was him, I don't think I would have done this personally. I don't think up until this point, he's really played like that good offense when it comes to like being patient. He's had a lot of big plays in this game. I would have gone into this drive of I take 7 whenever I get 7. I'm not going to try to score with 0 seconds on the clock. It would be a little bit different if he was down 3 instead of down 4, but him being down 4, playing offense the way he has been, very like high powered when he's had those successful drives. I don't think I would have tried to make this last drive personally if I was him. First and 15 for him here. Does get a false start on that first down. Just doesn't get his play off fast enough. Just with the drag right there, I got to make that tackle. I get too greedy with the hit stick. And right here, he does chew clock and then takes it down to the 2-minute warning here. Setting up a lot of protection. I don't know what his protection was for this. He was setting up protection basically every single play, though. Right there, good little drag. Again, I got to make that tackle. That's a very simple, easy tackle that I just have to make. There's really no other way of saying it. I just have to make that tackle. Right here, a little bit of an inside zone from him, and it makes sense, right? He's trying to make this last drive, so you're going to anticipate him to run the ball a little bit more, and it's not necessarily runs to win the game. It's more just runs to kill clock, right? Runs that are just going to bleed clock is probably his goal. Right here, 1st and 10. Another flag by him, and those are like the big, like when you're trying to make this the last drive, those are the type of mistakes you can't really have, I will say. Those are bad mistakes by him. That's 10 yards of penalties already on this drive, on a drive where he's just trying to make this perfect, right? And you look at that, he has an extra 5 yards right here. He's on a 2nd and 4 now. And if he's on a 2nd and 4, it's a lot different than a 2nd and 9. So a little bit surprised that he wasn't a little bit faster trying to get the hike off in those situations. But nonetheless, 2nd and 9 right here. Again, super bleeding clock. I remember I was sitting here. I was stunned. And right there, he gets greedy. He tries to throw the streak. And we are able to get a pick right there. We aren't able to house this right here, but I was surprised that he threw this. I really was. I thought this was just a throwaway right here, but really, again, just very standard coverage on this play. Switch stick was good right here. I thought this was actually a corner route at first. I don't know why I thought he had a running back corner, but I thought he did. And he tries to step up in the pocket and make this throw. This is just like such a tough throw because here's the thing about this throw. If he underthrows it, right? So let's just hypothetically say, like, you're going to have your passing reticle, right? So let's just say that his passing reticle looked something like this, right? So let's just hypothetically say you pass lead it down. So the ball is like here, right? I'm probably going to get there. I would be stunned if my user didn't get into that area of the field right there. Then let's just say, okay, let's just say you pass lead it in right here. Then you probably have this safety, right? This safety is probably going to be able to get over here in time. Maybe if you, the only place you might have been able to throw it is there. But even then, I think one of us is going to get there. If you pass lead it up, obviously this safety is going to just be able to easily get to that. So it was one of those reads that, this was, it was a very aggressive read by him. You guys can see his pass lead does end up going straight up right there too. Kind of where that safety we were talking about was. And as you guys can see, if we click on, even that other safety, right? You guys want to talk about the craziest animation ever? Look at this dude. I've never even noticed this dude. This is Superman. It's actually an insane animation. But even he was probably going to make a play on that too. And then I was kind of taking away that underneath area of the field. But yeah, we are able to get a pick right there. And essentially now, I'm not passing the ball in this sequence. At the end of the day, if I need to punt, I will punt. I do not care if I need to punt in this situation. He'll be pinned inside his own 10 with 30 seconds left, give or take. These are just going to be 3 straight run calls. If I somehow get back on defense in this, I want to make sure that he's pinned inside of his 10. We actually go to my red zone offense right here. Reason why I go to my red zone offense is because I want to make sure that I just have my best run calls right here at this area of the field. So I'm actually calling a halfback stretch left right here. Also want to make sure that I stay in bounds too. So that's why we're running stretch left. And we're able to get the first down. And we're able to seal the deal. But yeah, boys, that's one of the better defenses I think I've played this year. As I said, we'll have 6-1 up on the YouTube tomorrow. I'm going to have it inside the mind of how to run 6-1, all my abilities, all of that fun stuff. GG's to say, he played a great game right there. I think the reality of it is he became a little bit too aggressive late in the game. I think if he just wasn't as aggressive at that point in the game, I think he wins the game. I think he just got a little bit too aggressive on that final drive. I think if he tried to, if you're going to try to play a perfect drive, you almost have to be a little bit more patient. But with that being said, boys, I do appreciate you guys all a ton for watching this. I hope you guys do notice, do have some lighting. I actually have a backdrop that I'm hoping to put up later today. So as I said, I hope that the quality, etc., keeps going up for you guys. For all the support that you guys have shown on the channel, I do appreciate you guys all a ton. I will see you guys all next time.